Hayley.
And I'm Kayli.
And this week we're talking about the Batman.
Ooh, spooky. Ooh, it was so dark and so gritty. I thought this was something.
If you didn't notice, besides that,
I didn't know what else to say. Sorry.
Catwoman's in the building.
Ooh, and so is Superman, but he wasn't in.
Not this one.
Not this one. Batman.
Do we
versus
date
Superman.
ever?
Superman?
And Catwoman?
I don't think so. I think
Let's
he's
get
strictly
that-
Batwoman's woman. Batwoman's woman. Batman's
woman?
woman. Or Batwoman.
Batwoman?
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
Let's do that. But, you know, to spice things up, we made our own little cocktails,
Literally.
our own Batman cocktails.
But do we want to tell them where we found it? From Tasty. I thought it was a Tasty article. It was 7 Batman drinks. So I did Catwoman. Mm-hmm. And yours is?
The Boy Wonder, which is
also Robin Hood? Wait. Listen.
She
so
spoke too soon.
so many anti-heroes. So little time. Robin.
Just Robin.
Is that the Boy Wonder?
Yeah.
He's technically in the film. So.
Oh.
But I say I haven't tried my drink yet.
Me neither.
Do we want to read what's
scared.
in our drinks?
Yeah.
Okay, so the description is black currant liqueur is the secret ingredient in a drink that's dark, sophisticated, and bittersweet enough to suit Selena Kyle.
Ooh.
Like me. Serves one. Okay. 2
Serves
ounces
one.
bourbon whiskey, 1 ounce sweet vermouth, 1/2 ounce creme de cassis. I think that's how you pronounce it. 1/2 ounce fresh squeezed lemon juice and a dash of bitters.
Ooh. And that's what it looks like. It's cloudy.
Just like Selena herself. So yeah, I'm gonna try it now. You just literally pour all the ingredients together, mix it up. It's a little cloudy, it's a little dark.
Strong.
It smells like an old fashioned. It smells like
Death.
golly.
That's what Catwoman likes.
Here I go.
Did you even get it?
No. Golly. I can't be Catwoman. I just embarrassed all the Catwomen. She's supposed to like drink this in a shot.
In a shot.
Probably.
Ooh.
Do it again. I'm gonna drink it like Catwoman would drink it.
Like a
Ready?
cat? Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh. Not like Halle Berry's Catwoman.
I gotta pay for that content. Okay.
Our OnlyFans is here.
Speaking of which, our introduction to running out of money. Y'all haven't helped us at all.
Right. Now we're doing our Batwoman, Catwoman cosplay.
Sure, it's already been done. All right. I'm gonna do it again. And this is how Batwoman would oh my gosh, Catwoman. I've been saying bat.
You have been saying that this whole time.
Honestly, at this point. Okay, Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Do that again. Okay, Catwoman. I totally spit.
Ooh, sophisticated. Come on, push it through. That's a serial killer right there. That's the origins of your villain story.
Another round. This is my origin story. All right, Boy Wonder.
What's in mine?
Oh yes, Kayli is sporting with her Superman shirt. At least your colors are matching.
Ooh, it is. Because there's a little red at the bottom.
The Boy Wonder. This drink, the love child of a tequila sunrise and a mimosa, makes a perfect brunch appropriate sidekick to the Bruce Wayne. The measurements are just a guidance. Feel free to add as much champagne as you like, of course. Serves one. 3 ounce orange juice, 2 ounces sparkling wine, 1 ounce silver tequila, and a splash of grenadine or maraschino cherry juice.
It smells so tequila-y. It's not bad. It's a lot of orange juice doing a lot of work. That's what I like. That's what I like.
Okay. Should we try each other's drinks?
Yes.
Okay. We're switching.
I'm scared.
It's as bad as I made it seem. Cheers. We're done.
I'm scared of yours, Hayley.
Oh, yours is a fucking breeze.
Yo, yours is...
Sorry to that man. To that man, I mean you. This is
What
a
the
grown.
fuck is that?
It's a grown woman drink.
That's no.
Put hair on my
That
ears.
is not okay. No. Tasty, you're wrong for that.
They're
no.
wrong for that. But honestly,
it like has a taste of like cough syrup because of that grape.
maybe I made it wrong.
I don't-
I thought I measured, but honestly, I was literally looking at all the ingredients. I was like, this is going to taste like ass. So
as soon as I saw whiskey, I was like, no, ma'am.
All right. Well, now that we entertained anybody or somebody with that.
Did we? Were you entertained?
They weren't. Let's get into the movie.
All right, to get started, I'm going to read our synopsis. So The Batman is a gritty noir following our baddie detective, Bruce Wayne. Gotham's most prominent figures are being targeted in a string of murders, with the killer leaving behind riddles addressed to Batman himself. As Bruce begins to decode the riddles, he finds himself being sucked into the underground world of drugs, gangsters, and betrayal. In order to find the Riddler, Bruce must confront the ugly truths of the Wayne legacy. Honestly, I think my throat is closing up a little bit.
From that drink?
What if I'm allergic to something? Bitch, I feel my...
How's your throat, though? You're scaring me. Because I can't help you.
I know.
I can call 911.
This might be our last podcast.
Oh, my God. One for the books.
This is what we're talking about is Batman. Anyways, that is what Batman is about.
All right, let's get into it. So The Batman came out in March of 2022. Action, adventure, superhero, noir, if you will. What does that mean? Just dark?
Yeah.
Dramatic? Extra?
Like a crime kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. There's always like a woman, like
there's always a sexy
damsel.
woman.
Yeah. I thought there was something in your hair for a second.
It's me.
Oh.
The sexy woman. The one
Selena Kane.
Tempts.
What's her name? Kyle?
Selena Kane would have been good, though.
Ooh.
Anyway, so yeah, me. Let's talk about the ratings. So I am actually surprised by these ratings. IMDb is an 8.6 out of 10. Damn. That is the absolute highest. They're always around 6.
I've never seen that high.
So yeah, IMDb, crazy ratings for no reason. They really liked it. But I wonder if that will change over time because, you know, people have just started watching it. So, of course, there are more reviews.
True.
More reviews to come.
Yeah.
But Rotten Tomatoes, the audience gave it a 89%.
That's pretty
And critics
high.
gave it 86. So it seems like the consensus is that they like this movie. Do I think that has a little bit to do with the fact that this might just be compared to the other DC movies? Absolutely. So for that, yes. Let's get into the cast. Robert Pattinson, of course, Bruce Wayne, aka the Batman. I don't know how they didn't put that together, but we'll get into it. Zoe Kravitz, the very beautiful, sexy Selena Kyle, my favorite out this whole movie. She's very beautiful, very pleasing to look at. I like. And here goes into people that I'm like, okay. So Jeffrey Wright plays Lieutenant James Gordon. Colin Farrell. This is literally
that was crazy,
hilarious. I didn't even know it was him until I looked. He plays Oz, aka the Penguin. Just for reference again. What on earth? I thought this was like a real actor guy, and he did such a good job.
He did.
Wow.
Because
And
when I saw his name pop up at the credits, I was like not that one. I was like, there's 2 different Colin Farrells.
No,
I thought there was just one.
Just one. And let's also give a round of applause to the SFX team. They did great. He looks like an old ass man with scars, and he did so good acting. The Penguin was one of my favorites.
I agree.
10 out of 10 on that one, actually. Yeah. They might have carried the team on that. Paul Dano is the Riddler. John Turturro, Carmen Falcone. Andy Serkis is Alfred. Peter Sarsgaard is District Attorney Gil Coulson. Barry Keoghan, even though I looked this up, it looks like it's pronounced Keoghan. Absolutely not. Keoghan is the unseen Arkham prisoner who we put the pieces together. It's the Joker.
Okay.
So we can assume that he will be the Joker. And I don't know how I feel about that casting.
We'll have to talk about it.
We'll talk about that. Jamie Lawson plays Bella Real, who is the Congresswoman. Gil Perez Abraham plays Officer Martinez. Peter McDonald plays Kenzie. Con O'Neill plays Chief Mackenzie Bach. Alex Ferns plays Commissioner Pete Savage.
He died, right?
Yes. Yeah, he was one of the victims. Yes. Rupert Penry Jones plays Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. Kosha Engler plays Miss Mitchell. Archie Barnes is Mitchell's son, a.k.a. Robin. Hannah Herzik plays Annika. Luke Roberts plays Thomas Wayne. Stella Stalker plays Martha Wayne. Charlie Carver is the twin, and Max Carver is the other twin. I think those were the ones that were like lower on the list, but they were so notable. They're always the bouncers. I put them in there. Yeah. And I'm sorry that list was so long, but there are so many characters, and those are like all the important pieces.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of people in this.
There's all the characters. So just a few things about the movie. So, and we'll probably get into this. So I said the director was Matt Reeves, right?
No.
If I didn't say that, I meant to say that. The director is Matt Reeves. So in an interview done by ScreenRant.com, Matt Reeves said he was terrified of the complex detective story and the long showtime, but apparently the test audiences loved it, so they kept it.
I was not in the test audience.
I'm not really sure what test audiences they're pulling from. I'm not sure if these are fans of just Batman, but I'm going to say no on that one. Let's see. And it's also to note, Matt Reeves was given total control over this movie, and he says that this is 100% what he envisioned. So
do you think this has any influence from Zack Snyder?
Yes. I think they're making a point like, okay, he got full creative control.
Yeah.
And there was no like pushbacks, ands, if, or buts. But something is funny. So the only thing he couldn't control. So it's just like an interesting fact. So the Penguin didn't smoke. They wanted him to be a smoker. I think apparently in the comics and everything, he does smoke. But it's a thing where studios are cautious about showing smoking on screen in like superhero films. So they specifically said that he can't smoke, and I don't think anyone smoked in this movie.
Now that you say it, yeah. I mean, it makes sense because like this is supposed to be for like a younger audience.
Was that supposed to be for any kind of young child at all?
What's the rating? What's
rated R? It was rated R.
Oh, really?
All that gory violence, blood. Let me just verify, but I'm pretty sure it's rated R. PG-13. I'm a liar. Wow.
Yeah, but I've noticed, speaking of smoking, I've noticed that a lot of shows on Netflix have people vaping instead of like smoking cigarettes.
Well, that might just be because of the times.
I know, but that's kind of weird because like they're like, you know, whenever you're watching like a detective show, there's like the show I call personally, I call it Hellbound. But like the detective in that show, he like, you know, instead of smoking just like a cigarette, he just smokes a vape and it doesn't have the same
It's
effect.
not the same sleazy. Sometimes it's sleazy, sometimes it's cool.
Yeah.
A vape is just lame as hell. You're
I
just
agree.
like, and it's not even, you don't even
And then that
smoke
big ass
cool.
cloud.
Big ass vapor cloud. And it's not even like, you know, they can kind of smoke it cool. You do this.
Yeah.
You do this. You do, and you flick it. Nah.
It had like the long little thing like back in the day with like Cruella de Vil.
Yes. No, they literally have the jewel and they're like, they have to like, it's not cool. It looks like they're about to, you know, the recorder in like kindergarten. Mm-hmm. It's stupid.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's how I feel about technology in movies nowadays. Mm-hmm. I hate when they start FaceTiming each other. I know we live in this world where like this is what we do, but the minute they're like social media, I'm like, oh, what a horrible movie. I just don't think that technology integrates well at all with movies because it's like technology, and unless it's like a super futuristic one, but I hate when they have like iPhones and the music and then they're trying to do all that stuff. So
all that stuff.
All that shit. Anyway.
Yeah. Bring it. This is a gritty movie. We're PG-13. We can say shit.
Can we? But anyway, so on to Zoe Kravitz, aka me. So she was actually turned down for Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises because she was too urban, and that's from the Daily Mail. So Anne Hathaway was chosen for that role, but yeah, so she was actually up for that role. I think it was like 10 years ago, they said. So they just said it's kind of like full circle now. So now she's able to actually be Catwoman. She's not too urban. Even though she's been played by urban women before. Eartha Kitt. Hello, Halle Berry.
Even though Halle Berry wasn't, I guess, technically Catwoman, but
listen,
she's a Catwoman
in our hearts. And I know that this was kind of being talked about a lot. Is like Zoe Kravitz had mentioned that she played Catwoman with Catwoman being bisexual in mind. Like she kind of played her as a bisexual woman. And this is from Teen Vogue.
I wouldn't have gotten that vibe at all, to be honest.
So she interpreted, she being Zoe, interpreted that her roommate Annika is someone who she was in a relationship with.
Oh.
However, Matt Reeves says that this is not true. He just said that he didn't write it like that. He wrote it like, he said that it's more of Selena is Annika's almost like mother figure, because since Selena lost her mom at a young age, she kind of takes over the role of mother and is kind of like the mom that she lost and is like taking over that. So that's what he had in mind. And she mentioned she likes taking strays, you know, so that kind of goes well into the theme.
That's true. But I mean, I guess you can interpret the pet names, like she calls her baby, she calls
everybody baby.
Yeah, so you can interpret in different ways if you want to make it more bisexual or more motherly or friendly. Like I feel like women call each other babe or baby.
They do. I was like calling her babe or baby, and she just kind of, I didn't know if they're trying to make it her thing, like how Harley Quinn calls everybody hun, or what does she say? Yeah. So I wasn't sure if that's just her thing. But Reeves did say that if that could be a complete interpretation, he's not like knocking it. He just was like,
That's not
what I meant, but you know, hey. But there is a comic where Catwoman is bisexual. I think it's just one, so it's not like the majority of the stories. I think she dates Batman and Bruce Wayne and all this other stuff. But so yeah, interesting take. But I could totally see her as bisexual.
Yeah,
makes sense to me. And then I guess the last thing to note is that Dylan Clark, who's one of the producers, said that there will be a second Batman movie. I think it's made prevalent by the last ending scene, or one of the end scenes, within the next 5 years. So,
that's not too long. Overall thoughts. What did you think about this movie, Hayley?
It was a very long movie, and there are very few movies that are long. I probably could list maybe one movie off the top of my head that I thought didn't feel long, and that's Avatar.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the only movies that I can think of. Maybe Titanic. That one's still long, but I'm like, it keeps you intrigued because it's like a good story. Yeah. Not saying that this wasn't. Did I feel the movie that was long? Yes. Did I feel like it could have been shorter? Yes. Was I looking at the clock 2 hours in going, damn, we have another hour? Yes. So that's my overall thoughts. It's way too long. I don't know what the test. I don't know who they are. I'm not sure where they found you, but absolutely not. And clearly I'm in the wrong. The ratings are literally almost an A, high B.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I agree. This movie was way too long. I will say I had an interesting experience. We went on basically opening night. It was Friday, and the theater that we went to was huge. Like, there's a lot of seats in it. And we were at the part where the district attorney is about to blow up. Well, this guy was like walking around in our aisle with his like phone and like with his flashlight and everything. And he made his way to us, and he was like, where's G14? Where's G14? And that's the seat that my dad was in. And he was like, what's up? What do you want? He was like, oh, well, I have tickets for this one. And he was like, okay, so do we. And so then like there's like another guy that was like at the end of the aisle. He was like, hey, Khalil, come here, let me get the tickets, in the middle of the movie, loud, in the middle of the movie. And so he brings the tickets and he shows us, it says G14 and G15. He's like, where's G15? And it was right next to my dad, which it wasn't us. So it was another guy, and we showed him our tickets on our phone, and then he just walked away. So it took me and my boyfriend both out of the movie. We're like, because like this was right whenever like the peak moment of that guy about to blow up. And yeah, it was just kind of
so
really
how
weird.
far in this movie?
It was like probably a good hour or so in the movie. So I'm like, why would you come in an hour or so into this movie asking for your seat?
No, just you missed everything. You don't know what's going on.
Exactly. So it was very weird.
So
very
they
bizarre.
just left?
Yeah.
They didn't even watch the movie. They're probably like, maybe not. I thought it was a bad idea.
I don't know if they're just trying to like, the tickets were all crumbled and everything. And I don't know if he was like trying to like scam us out of our seats.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But maybe it would have worked if like G14 and G15 were in the same party. But it was like literally me and a stranger, or my dad and a stranger.
People. So we didn't all mess up, sir.
Yeah. So clearly you in the wrong. But that definitely took us out the movie. And I think that's one of the reasons why my boyfriend wants to see it again. Because he's like, man,
he didn't get the experience.
Yeah. And we were sitting kind of close, and my neck was kind of hurting. Speaking of which, it's still hurting today. I reached for something today. I feel so old.
Not like we used to be.
I know. If I was Catwoman, I'd be agile, be able to do whatever. Anyways, but it was long. But I did like the detective aspect. It reminded me of Seven, the one with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, of like the mystery aspect of it. So I did enjoy that part of it. But I don't like it when long movies feel long, because I felt like we spent all weekend in that seat in the theater just watching the movie.
I watched it on Sunday, which is a mistake. Started at 7 o'clock. There went my entire evening. Walked out. I was like 10. It was cold because a cold front came through. It was dark. I was like, there went my Saturday or my Sunday, and now I got to go to work. And I saw a movie that I could have probably not seen. But okay.
I don't know. And it also feels like because this movie is so long, and the way that it looks, it felt like it all blends in together too much. Since I saw it on Friday and today's Monday, it's kind of hard for me to even remember like what really happened in this movie. It just kind of all blended together.
Yeah, it just was very. I appreciate them really getting into the mystery, but my problem was it was like two different movies almost. Like, the first half, and then he finally figures it out, and then of course there's like a little bit of a twist, or that's not what it thought it was. Or there's a bigger plan. But there was a lot going on. I think there were too many characters at play.
I agree.
Because I kind of didn't know who any of the Kenzie or Mackenzie were. I was like, who the hell is that?
There's so many names being thrown around. I felt like I was like in the middle of a season on a show, and I was like, I don't know who any of these characters are.
Yeah, and I'm so over the, who is it? Because the whole time, who's the rat? Who's the rat? I'm so over that
rata.
because
The rat with wings.
Well, it just made me mad because I'm like, we know it's going to be somebody here. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's the mystery. I'm like, I can't ever really get into it or really feel like I'm surprised because I'm literally just waiting. I'm like, okay, it's going to be a big name that we've been seeing and they're going to put it together. And it's kind of the same formula. So I'm not mad at it, but I feel like there were so many mobsters. And I was like, it's the Penguin. I'm like, well, it's not the Penguin because, we're too early in the movie. So it's not him. It's just process of elimination at this point. Then it's the Falcon. And then we're like, oh, we're supposed to be surprised that he's a liar. And then, oh my God, it's her dad. And I was just like, okay. It just felt a little bit like they're trying to get you,
Yeah.
Like, but I'm like, you didn't really get anybody. We knew it was going to be one of these people that we already seen. And it's not even like a good whodunit. Because, there are those movies where like, oh, who did it? Like, we know it's somebody, but we really can't figure it out. But I'm like, no, they're all bad. Like, there's no surprise here. Everybody here has been bad. Everybody's bad. It's just who's the worst. Like, at this point, we don't care. I'm like, okay, let's move it along. Like, I was more interested in the backstory of the Riddler. Because to me, that was maybe the more important thing. So I'm like, instead of focusing so damn much on like all this mystery, when it's not a mystery, we can assume everybody in the police force is corrupt. Okay, we learned that in the first 5 minutes. So nothing after that is going to surprise me.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what kind of not bothered me, but I was like, I'm bored. Like, okay. And that's when it drug on. And it probably took us 2 hours to get through that part. So we're finally through. We figure out all the secrets thus far. And I was just... What about you? I'm gonna let you take over again.
I guess we can kind of get into some more specifics if you want to. Well, apparently, like the Batman character is supposed to be more of like a detective. Okay. So I never really knew that from like watching any of the other movies. So it's kind of cool that they decided to introduce that aspect of him being more of like a detective and like doing all that kind of thing. So it's kind of cool with that part.
Yeah, I
do like mysteries and stuff like that. So it was kind of, I did enjoy that aspect of it. And like the way that he was able to stretch all these clues together was a little bit much, where he was like,
he's supposed to be a genius.
URL or whatever with the rata. I don't know.
I'm so sorry. That scene where he figured out that El Rata whatever is really URL. I was like, oh, hell no. That was dumb.
Yeah,
that was dumb.
A bit of a stretch.
It was like, okay.
I wonder if that was the website that was flashed at the end of the movie, because it was like a really quick flash and then it has like the question mark of the Riddler.
So maybe you can probably go and it's probably more promo. But yeah, I do think some of the clues, it was just like, okay. But I didn't mind it. I do like the detective aspect, and I'm going off from what my boyfriend tells me and stuff. So I know in the main comics and then the animated movies, which are actually pretty good. I like the animated movies.
Never seen them.
Yeah, they're like not for kids. They're like grown-ass adult animated movies. But not that it matters. You can absolutely watch an animated movie. Anyway, but in those, Batman's definitely like more of a detective and kind of more of like, you can tell he's like very smart and intelligent putting things together.
Yeah.
But he's definitely kind of more the main one that's like getting things going in those movies. So they're saying it's true to that. But my boyfriend said that this was like an exact replica of one of the other movies. I can't remember which one he was, but it's like an animated movie. He was like, it's the same thing as this other animated movie. He's like, except the animated movie was better and it was only an hour and 30 minutes. My boyfriend was not amused, and he loves Batman. It's like his favorite superhero.
Yeah.
And he loves it. So he didn't like it either. So I was like, okay. But I didn't mind Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about that.
Yeah.
I liked him. Okay. This is what we discussed after the movie. My dad brought this up. He said that Batman is very boring. And he's like, the villains are the ones who really make the story exciting.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I totally agree. Bruce Wayne... Edward Patterson as Bruce Wayne, I didn't really love. I thought he was way too moody and emo, especially for it to be 20 years after. Okay, listen, I'm not an orphan. I still have both my parents around, so I don't know how it feels. And grieving takes a long time, sure. But like, it seemed like that should just happen to him. He was over here moping around. Ooh. I'm like, boy, get your little emo
billionaire ass up and go be happy.
Isn't that what the Riddler said? He's like, he's a billionaire orphan. That's not a real orphan.
I know. I was like, damn.
I was like, to be fair, he still lost his parents.
Not gatekeeping orphanism. But I guess he never was in an orphanage. Like, he had so much money that he just kind of got a butler.
But I'm sure not all orphanages are like, you wake up with rats eating your fingers. Like, I'm pretty sure
that's pretty bad.
I think that's just Gotham's orphan.
Yes, not all orphanages are as bad as that.
Yeah. So I don't know. He is kind of gatekeeping what an orphan means, but he still lost his parents. So just because he's rich doesn't mean that he's not really an orphan.
Yeah, but I get it. Yeah. But once again, we have the same story. You grew up, we were started the same, but you grew up and had a better life, and I was left in the trenches, so now I'm angry, and I'm going to get revenge on you and revenge on all the people that were...
Sounded just like the Riddler.
Yes. It just, again, is kind of the same story.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you can't have the same formula, because stuff does work, but I guess I was just like, I feel like I was hearing stuff again. We've heard that. There's probably literally been another movie where they're orphans and one, like, isn't there another? But there has to be something.
Probably.
Literally type in 2 orphans. One ends up great, the other doesn't, and the other one turns evil.
But I feel like most of the time when we're in Gotham, it's always going to be a class story being brought up. That's what it's always about. That's what the villains are always talking about.
Which is fine. That's true. Because Gotham is very like wealthy versus poor versus like the people. So I do get that aspect of it. But I guess I was just like, okay, like nothing seemed very original.
No,
it just seemed very like, oh, corrupt cops. Oh, a killer on the loose. Who is it? The killer really likes, like, it's just, I guess, just a detective movie. But if that's what they're going for, because literally every detective movie, the killers always mess with the detective. Yeah. You're going to figure it out. You're going to find me. And then when you get there, anyway. So I guess not only was it an hour or 3 hours long, excuse me, I would never say an hour, 3 hours long.
Hour and a half too long.
Yes. I guess that was the part. But I didn't, like I said, mind Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, I don't like him as Bruce Wayne, but I think him as Batman is fine. I honestly didn't expect to like him really as Batman, especially because I really know him from Twilight. So
yes, no, we've moved on.
Yeah, I did watch The Lighthouse and he was in that too, but I hated that movie, but I guess he has some acting chops.
He does. But my boyfriend was saying that in Batman, he acts all, I'm Batman when he's Batman, but when he's Bruce Wayne, he's actually like lucky, fun going. Like he's kind of has a different personality. How these people couldn't figure out that Batman is literally Bruce Wayne baffles me. This man has his whole lower half of his chin out, and Robert Pattinson is a very, very distinguished like face. So this man's face is out. Yeah, that charcoal black eyeliner isn't cutting it. We can see who you are, and all you have to do is this. Who is really rich to be able to afford all this Batman equipment? Who's never around? Who's moody? Literally, Bruce Wayne. They can't figure this shit out. The Riddler couldn't figure it out.
True. The Riddler looked like he did.
Yes, he thought he did, and then he just didn't figure it out. I'm like, Batman literally runs around in a very like obvious vehicle.
Well, I feel like with this one,
it goes back to his house.
It's not as obvious. This is another thing that we've talked about as a group after the movie is that this seems to be more of like the beginning stages of Batman, where like a lot of his technology and stuff isn't as amped up as it usually is. Like his car was like not as decked out as it usually is. His suit, especially like his nose area, and Catwoman's suit too. Ugly. I hated her mask.
That fuzz, that sock.
Yes,
oversized sock.
That little like robber's mask looking ass.
You know who she is too. Running in trying to kill her dad. You saw you thought, why is the worker from the club?
She has like 17 different masks or 17 different wigs, so they never know who she is.
They never know.
They never knew. But yeah, so I feel like with it being more of like the beginnings, we can give it more of a pass of how their costumes kind of look like. Because I hated the nose of Batman's mask. It was flat, so like, ugly. Weird. It looked so hand stitched together. But if we're saying that this is the beginning of everything, then it kind of makes sense. And I guess we're gonna see it evolve more as it grows as a franchise. If he decides to continue being Batman,
I suppose. I just feel like for one of the biggest parts of Batman is he's able to keep his identity hidden because he's so smart and cunning and intelligent and rich. So sometimes I feel like since that's a really important aspect of it, when they just kind of poo-poo it to the side, I'm like, yeah, he just like wears a mask. I'm like, it bothers me, I guess, because I'm like, well, I feel like you should really not make a point, but it should be something that you're really showcasing. Like he is secretive. Like not once. all he did was ride his loud ass motorcycle right into his fucking garage. I'm like, where's the secretness? It just didn't, I don't know. I'm just like, a part of what I want to see is why Batman is who he is, why he can be who he is. He probably has like an underground tunnel that he goes instead of his house. Like, what is he doing? He's a billionaire. But they never do that. He runs around in an angry mask, then pops out as Bruce Wayne, then pops back out in the shadows in the church. Batman's back. I'm like, how do y'all not know it's Bruce? So even though he's like in the beginning stages, I'm like, he's still smart. And I feel like with the intelligentness of everyone else here, like the Riddler and then the cop that was helping him with the detective guy, Gordon, I just was like, I don't know. I'm being picky probably at this point.
Yeah, a little bit. Because I mean, that's what literally every superhero, like Superman, he literally only has glasses. But to be fair, I was watching, RuPaul's Drag Race, and RuPaul.
How is this tying?
It ties.
Okay.
So RuPaul, whenever he's dressed as a man, he has glasses on, but when he's in drag, he never has glasses on. And I was like, honestly, they look like two different people. I'm like,
there's a lot of other effort that goes into that, Kayli.
Yes, kind of, but like, I'm just saying.
Not kind of.
It's the same face. But like it's really like the whole Superman thing. Like he really just takes off his glasses, put on makeup, and he's a different person. And to me, I could be fooled. You don't think Superman puts on makeup?
No, he literally.
He doesn't look that good.
6'6" guy.
You see his hair? His hair? It ain't.
He just uncurls it the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, this 6'6" guy who's strong as hell, very attractive. Not that attractive people can't, but I'm like, he's like working as a job that it definitely stands out. He's like the paper guy for the news reporter place, Planet, whatever.
But yeah, Planet Express. I don't
Fitness.
know. That's Futurama.
And so he's just like, I'm like, that is a sore thumb. So you look and you go, where have I seen another 6'6" guy? Yeah. Literally Superman. No, that's dumb. But I think everyone agrees that's dumb.
Yeah. But I think it's the exact same thing with Batman, though. Everybody has this complaint. These DC superheroes are not well hidden. But I feel like this one may be a little bit more because like with all the other Bruce Waynes, like Christian Bale, like he was having parties. He was like talking to people. He showed his face a lot more. But with this one, he was much more reclusive. He didn't come out. So
I feel like that makes it more obvious that it's you. Like if you're throwing all these parties and you're very much in the mix, I feel like people are not going to really think it's you. But if you're never, ever around, you only pop out every now and then.
But people don't get to see your face, though. I feel like people don't get to see his face as often. Okay. So then, like,
he's like the Prince of Gotham. They already know what he looks like, regardless of like what he wanted or not.
I guess
I'm being picky.
She is. The Riddler. I don't like the Riddler.
He was okay.
I don't like him at all. I don't like the personality of it. I feel like it was a really weird mix in this movie of like very serious, like a gritty noir, and then like we have like a comedy with the Riddler. I know that he was very comedic in with Jim Carrey playing him, but I don't know. I feel like with this one, it just didn't vibe well. Like we have this guy in a jail cell. I can't say that word.
A jail
cell. I'm from Texas, and he's talking to Batman, and he's like, "Oh, like Batman's like, what did you do? What are you doing?" He's over here, "Oh, Mama." And then it's a mass shooting plot right after that. So it's like a little bit of a weird tone for me, but like it was very comedic every time we saw him. First of all, why did he have his glasses over his mask? Get some contacts.
No.
I feel like that was
that's how you know who he is.
That's such a burden, bro. Yeah. Like imagine if he just swung his head around like wrong and his glasses go flying. You can't fucking see now.
I'm not saying that. Or maybe they're just for show. He's like, I'm smart, so glasses. They're just for show.
That's why. I don't know. He was just goofy. He breathed really loud, and then like with him yelling and everything.
Yeah,
it was
just over the top.
He wasn't like a scary villain, but I don't know if he's supposed to be. Maybe in this realm, I feel like he was kind of supposed to be more scary than goofy, but I just didn't really like it. What about you?
It was okay. Like I said, kind of like the same kid who's an outcast who kind of ends up a little off and then but really is smart at heart. I just was like, okay. I think the traditional Riddler is like, I might be wrong here, but I feel like when I've seen him in like the cartoons and stuff, he's like a little bit older, a little bit more theatric, and not less like misunderstood and just disturbed. But it was just more like, I don't know. But I guess, I mean, they're going to go a different angle. I guess it makes sense for what's going on. So it didn't bother me that much. But I mean, I was just like, okay. But there just wasn't a lot of mystery to him. I don't know. I just wasn't. Once again, I'm like, okay, like just kind of like the bad guys at the police station. I'm like, hey, well, we all know they're bad. I'm like, okay, it's probably gonna be some weird white guy. Surprise, surprise, a weird white guy. Like it just happens over and over again. So I guess I just was very like, meh. The character didn't do much for me. I feel like they were trying to really hone in on like, you know, we can tell, not, I wouldn't say overacting, but it's just like when they're really trying to like sing Ave Maria, he's laughing, he's crying, he's all over the place. I'm like, we get it.
Yeah, we get it. He's insane.
He's weird. He's off. You know what I mean? So I guess I just was underwhelmed, and I was just waiting. I was waiting for the movie to end. It's like, good Lord, everything that I assume would happen has happened. The bad guys are indeed the bad guys that we already knew that were bad guys that we saw were the bad guys.
Bad guy.
Villain, some weird white guy who has problems with the main character.
Right. But doesn't even know that he's talking to him. Ooh.
No. I guess that's why I was like, eh. But I get it, but I feel like the Batman villains are very specific. So they kind of, to me, made this bad guy kind of like just another...
A little too generic
bad guy movie. A little generic, because I feel like they're all so... I did like the Penguin, though.
Yeah,
I like
agree.
the Penguin, and I think he did really well. I think I could definitely see him as like, I know who he is. He's just a good character.
I could not believe that car. Okay, that car race, was it?
That
chase.
was ridiculous.
Car chase. I did not like that scene. I don't know if it's because we were too close up, but it looked like everything was just tires. I was like, what's happening? Yeah. Was it hard to read for you? Or
yeah, I didn't know what was going on. And then all of a sudden at the end, who cares? Because there's a ramp. Perfectly placed.
No, but who cares about these citizens that just burned up on the highway?
No, I was thinking that. I was like, okay. Like, they're like, cool explosion. I'm like, not these people dying. Like, that's the thing, is like, Batman is like, I'm for justice. And I'm like, no, you're not. You literally killed like 80 civilians.
Man. He's for vengeance.
I guess so. But yeah, I was, here we go. But I just hate when they try to make it look cool, because then the explosions are happening in Batman because about the car. I'm like, oh, boys, explosions, cars.
Yep.
I was underwhelmed again.
Yep. I don't know.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not the target audience for that. But
we're obviously
every time they try to like overdo, like I'm like, you already introduced Batman. You already introduced him when he was beating the guys up in the beginning, which is cool. I like that. You already introduced the car, because remember, of course, like the Penguin's about to get away or whomstever, and the bad guys are and then all of a sudden you see this like really cool car. It's the Batmobile. Oh my gosh. So I'm like, why do we have another intro? He's like coming from the explosions. I'm like, are you not sad? You did all this to not even kill this guy. If you're going to chase down somebody on the highway and practically kill everybody in your path, the guy you're chasing is dead. They're like, we got to question you. I'm like, you could have done anything else.
And now a whole bunch of people are dead.
Everybody's dead because you want to ask questions. And it wasn't even the guy.
Yeah.
It's like a bird with wings. It's a penguin. And then
no,
the rat with wings.
Yeah.
I'm surprised with all the URL ratatata figuring out. He didn't figure out that the other guy's name was Falcon. Hello.
Yeah, true. Anyway. Honestly, I forgot that man's name every time.
I didn't know any of these people. There were so many characters. The movie was so dark. I didn't know who's who. What the fuck's going on? And they kept throwing names around. And it was for me, and I might be just a little bit not as smart as everybody else, but I was a little bit lost. Like I knew the gist of it, just like enough to where I was getting through it. But they kind of kept throwing out names. Like the guy with the rats, I kind of didn't care about him that much because I didn't know him. It wasn't shocking. Like, I mean, the mayor was like the opening scene. So of course you don't know who the mayor is, but you're like, wow, like this is where it's going. So I feel like every character after that should make me a little bit more like, wow, like, wow. But I feel like they didn't.
Yeah.
You kind of barely got to know the character and then they died. But I feel like they're trying to make you feel something for these characters. Like, wow, even though they're evil, they're going through some pretty rough stuff. And I'm like, but I don't care enough about these characters to
I didn't get that vibe. I got the vibe of drain the swamp. That's what I felt.
Drain the swamp.
Not to bring Trump back into this, but
I was like, what's that from?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of liked how they were playing with the Riddler and like his influence with the people, because like it was very reminiscent of like what Trump did and like talking about drain the swamp. Like once you can hone in on the public's hysteria, then you can make them do whatever or believe whatever, because like he was uncovering some truths. Like, these people are lying to you. They're not doing what they really are supposed to. They're not really for the people of Gotham. And they were rallied up and they were able to believe him. That's why he was able to get a following. But it wasn't enough
rallying for me. It was maybe the equivalent. I know he had 500 followers.
Yeah.
But I was like, it probably at the end of the day was like maybe 15 people I saw. Like I didn't see them. It was like 20. It would have been better.
There's like, I forgot where they were. I think it was at the mayor's funeral procession. Whenever you like pull up and you see a lot of people with signs and all this kind of stuff. That was when we saw it. I guess
so. But I guess I really liked the Joker.
They did it better.
Because that was more of like, and I know it's not the same because the Joker is not the same like evil character as the Riddler. But I'm like, it would have been better had that been a bigger issue for the police. Like, not only are they scared because they're being caught, but the Riddler's gaining a lot of followers. Because I feel like it really wasn't that. It happened so fast at the end. All of a sudden, like, and he has followers and they got guns. It just was very like, oh. But I feel like if they built it up that this man has followers and like something maybe bigger is happening, it would have been a lot more intriguing. Because you don't know really any of this stuff until like the Riddler's like revealing everything. So it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah. We just know that he's making videos and getting played on the news.
Yeah. So then, but my thing is he only had like 500 followers, which all, congrats. But you know what I mean? In terms of like trying to take over, I just was like, no, I don't know. It'd have been a lot better if there were like a ton of citizens and like you can't tell who's who, and like a cool scene of like Batman trying not to fight with the civilian, like being confused, like you don't know who's who, and the Riddler really has gotten all these people under his wing, but it was really just like a bunch of other weird white guys that sitting in their mom's basement just watching shit. I don't know. I was just like, but once again, maybe I'm just a little
I think they could have done a lot more,
that a little bit better, because I like when the villain ends up like if you're gonna go the route of the villain is for the people, I like when the people, or at least a big chunk of the people, enough for it to make a difference. Not that they weren't still causing hecticness, but just more of like, if you're gonna do the poor versus rich, I really like to see when actual people are just at their wits end and they are so angry that they're willing to resort to violence. But I wasn't getting the vibe with his followers of that. You didn't even see who they were. Like I like when they show like real people who are under other circumstances wouldn't be doing this, but like you can actually see their faces. But you see their faces and then you see them put on the mask, so like they're transforming, but you like connect more with them versus just like the random followers he had. We never really saw their faces. I guess the guy at the end, Batman was like, who are you? And he was like,
I am vengeance.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's more powerful if you're going that way to make that point about like the rich versus the poor. But I guess that's why I like the Joker, because it was like everyday people who started to just slowly lose it because of their situation and because of like the crime that was happening, the poverty. That to me is more powerful than like random weird guys on the internet, because then it just becomes like the weird guy type thing. It's not as powerful.
I feel like they could have definitely played with it a lot more, especially because in the beginning we see that Batman is feared by everybody, not just the bad guys, but by everyone. And so they could have played more with it where like, because Batman, he's supposed to be for the people of Gotham, but instead the Riddler is, and that's bad news for everybody because now he's going to hype everybody up and cause mayhem. So they could have played a lot more with it.
I see that.
But because everything did seem a little rushed towards the end. I thought we were going to end the movie like 7 times before we really ended it. And so it wasn't granted enough, I guess, to have the payoff of the civilian wanting to hold on to Batman before getting like care lifted off.
Yeah.
Like there would have been more payoff if we saw more of like nobody trusting Batman really, except for like a couple of people, to hello, I'm drunk, to him like slowly gaining the support and the confidence of the people, because then we can also marry that with his transformation of being for vengeance and for being Batman, because him and being I am vengeance and I am Batman are two different things. Vengeance is very more personal is very much more driven by your personal like vendettas. You're going through your own thing and his family stuff, but with him being Batman, he's doing it for Gotham.
I think that's a good point, because like you said, they start the movie out, this is like new Batman, and so maybe showing the people's distrust, because it was a lot of the Riddler talking shit, and I thought they were going to back it up and like the civilians were going to get mad too, like now we hate the Waynes because of either misinformation or whatever information they got, but like maybe they started hating Batman, and so Batman has to now fight with himself and like what's my choice here?
That could have been a lot more interesting than the love story with Catwoman.
Yeah, it was a little only because of course it's Catwoman and Batman. Yeah, of course they're gonna like have a thing or fall in love. But I do agree. I'm like, I think a big part of the growth, like you said at the end, when I think it was the little boy wasn't letting go or whatever. And maybe people finally looking at Batman as maybe he's here to help us, and maybe what we assumed about the Waynes or assumed about stuff is maybe not entirely correct, or maybe like the sins of the father, are we really going to punish? Well, they don't know who he is. Yeah. So no.
But Batman is going through his own turmoil with that.
But yeah, just like more of that.
Not the dirty laundry of the Waynes being mental health issues.
I know. They were like, well, he meant well because she was crazy. I'm like, damn.
They're like, let's expose the mom.
Women are always crazy every time.
She went through something traumatic. Her mom killed her dad and then killed herself. And then so she was in like an asylum for a little bit because, of course, why wouldn't you?
It's always the crazy woman. We can't get a crazy man. Well, then they're just that's the
Riddler.
villains that everybody loves. Then you get the Joker.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wish I guess the dirty laundry for the Waynes was a little bit more, because like whenever Bruce went up to that gangster guy at the end was like talking about like what really happened with my dad, and the guy was like, yeah, your dad was a bad man, blah blah blah. Why would you believe that man?
The bad man telling you something that your dad's bad man.
Yeah, I'm like, and not him going to Alfred's bread, Alfred's bed after he got blown up
He
and being
woke
mad.
up, was smiling. He's like, hey. And he's like, you lied to me. I was like, oh, Lord.
Like a little kid, bro. I
Wow.
was so mad at him. It really gave me vibes of Bully Maguire once again.
I would have liked it a lot better had his dad actually been evil low-key.
It would have been more interesting, yeah.
So much more interesting. I was like, oh shit, we're gonna get into some real shit. Like his dad wasn't the worst human being ever, but maybe he did some dirty things.
Maybe
like,
he was
willing
corrupt,
to,
yeah.
And they're like, it was like, no, he was a good man. He didn't mean to. He just wanted to scare him. Come bullshit. He told one of the biggest mobsters to just go scare somebody. You could have did that yourself. And you
tried
killed him.
to.
No,
Yeah.
you know when you like pretend like you didn't know they're gonna do something.
No.
Oh no, you killed him. I didn't know. But I thought it would have been way better had his dad just been corrupt.
Because you know what this gives me vibes of? It gives me vibes of 13 Reasons Why, like where everybody was like, Clay, you got to listen. I don't know if that's his name, but they're like, Clay, you got to listen to your tape. But it was like literally nothing bad. But this one, it was like with Thomas Wayne, like he didn't really do anything. He just set up a foundation and then he died a week later and everybody used his money. Like he really didn't do anything. He was technically the star, but like he didn't do anything himself.
Yeah,
except
it
for
was
getting
a little
murdered.
like, oh no, the good guy really can't be bad. Like,
Yeah.
he's really good. Batman's dad was really a good guy. Like, he
Yeah.
did. And I'm like, I get it, but boring. It's okay to be like, damn, your dad kind of did suck. And now that could also be part of his growth of like overcoming the past and kind of being like, well, damn, I'm gonna now go forward and
Trying to change the Wayne legacy.
try to, do something.
But
I
I
guess
did
that's how
like the
Batman's
part when
mask
when he jumped off the building and
he flirt. Why was he scared? James like he would never be scared of heights.
because this was probably his first time doing it.
No, he's Batman.
This is his first time. He's only been doing this for 2 years. How many opportunities do you
Not
get
everybody scared
to
him after
jump
2
off?
years. And why does no one have a
everybody.
gun? All these men with bats and metal rods. If y'all don't strap up, this is the city y'all live in, and the best you can do is a metal rod. Come on now. I know Batman running around. You're gonna do some hood rat shit, and you're gonna bring up your fists. Please.
Well, yeah. They also know that Batman's not going to kill him. Batman don't kill.
It's this whole thing. He doesn't kill. I'm sorry. I was like, let her kill her dad. He's like, no. I'm like, do it.
She was taking too long anyways. Hey, Dad.
Boy, how'd she miss?
Why was everything so like teenage angst with
She
them?
missed that straight up shot. I'm like, you're
She didn't really
literally
want to kill him.
Catwoman.
She didn't want to kill him. That's
Probably.
why. Hey, Dad.
Literally had an open shot, and she's supposed to be like a super killer
Yeah.
assassin fighter, and I was just like,
Not yet, at least. Maybe that's not happening yet. It's building up towards that.
Just-
Everything is building up towards him.
It was just too damn long.
It was way too long.
Too damn long, little cliche, little predictable, a little bit like, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think how they done it and stuff that was just not tropey.
Yeah, I don't
If
think
that's the
it's
word to
I don't
say,
even think
like,
it's
I was like-
possible to do that with superhero movies anymore, though.
But with Batman, that's why I like about some of the DC stuff is it's a lot darker, and I feel like you can go places that you can't really go with, like Marvel, like Iron Man. Not
Yeah.
that they weren't dark in their own way, but
Yeah.
Spider-Man, very happy, silly-go-lucky, even though there's bad things happening, there's dramatic moments. But I feel like what I did like about the movie, I did like the dark feel of it. I did like it was more mystery. It was more like realistic-y, if you will. Not realistic, but very, I guess in a world with superheroes and all that other mess, it's going to be pretty dark. So I do like that about DC, and I think that this was one of the better DC movies. So I don't think it was a bad movie. I don't want anyone to think that I think it was like not a well-made movie. I just think that if I'm going to truly
no, I was saying no. It was a true. It was a good movie.
terrible.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was just a horrible, terrible trash movie.
Yeah.
I think that I'm just being so hard on it because
You expected more?
I guess I did expect more. I was actually excited. It looked like they were really gonna do something. Not that they didn't. I mean, I guess for DC, it's A++. Sorry. But hopefully with the next movies, we can kind of get some other stuff. But I guess all the things I'm suggesting, maybe it's not really on par with what the comics are. So I could be wrong. Yeah. If this is what they were basing it off of another movie and that's just actually what happened, then I guess so. But I'm like, I feel like you can take twists and turns
You
here.
can do, you can have some
Creative
liberties.
license. I mean, it's never going to be exactly like the comics. Somebody's always mad because the character's not this or that or
They're
whatever.
never going to be happy with
like, so, if you can tweak some stuff, why not make it a little bit more interesting?
a little bit more dynamic, which is why I did like the Joker. I felt like it was an interesting take on his origin story as to why he became the Joker. And I feel like we could have gotten a little piece of that with the Riddler, but he was very one-dimensional. He was very goofy and very basic with like the whole, he's not a real orphan. I'm a real orphan.
Yeah.
And nobody loves me.
Blah, blah, blah.
And guess what? Nobody loves you now.
I know. Batman said, and now you finna rot here. Can we talk about the flooding? I'm so sorry. I was thinking about like the end. I was so confused. I'm like, wait, how are they flooding the city? And I was like, why is the Riddler now killing everybody? I thought he was for the people. He said, no one's good ever. And I was like, I mean, I guess.
Gave up,
And he was trying to have them all go into the center so he could kill them all there.
Which did kind of happen.
I'm confused.
He was saying that the mayor was not really going to be for change. Like they all say that they're going to be for change, but they're not. But I guess everybody else was going to be casualties.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so the citizens that you're trying to fight for, at least in theory, unless they're just saying that he's just crazy. Or he's just lost it and he just doesn't care anymore. But I was like, okay, this was your ultimate plan.
Mm-hmm. Ultimate plans always end with a mass shooting.
They always do.
So are we certain that the unnamed prisoner is the Joker?
I think so.
Because I know we were discussing if it was either the Joker or Two-Face.
That's who I said. But James reminded me that the Joker still also has a scar, a smile scar. Because I saw like a little bit of like a weird like teeth thing. So I thought, oh, it looks like Two-Face, you know, when he's in the hospital. Mm-hmm. And then he doesn't know, Two-Face doesn't know that it's the Joker. And the Joker just takes down his mask, not even his mask, it's like medical mask. He didn't see any of the like
nothing of the paint,
the hair.
He said, I don't know who this nurse is.
And then he did mention about he said something about clowns.
I did hear a clown,
so
and
I think that's where we're going.
Something else too.
And from what I read,
wonder if they're keeping it
the Joker.
I'm wondering if they're keeping it hidden because they're not certain if they want that person to be the actor.
No, I just think they're teasing.
But they could also change the actor because we didn't even see him.
They could, and I was not like, I guess visually from what the actor really looks like, I was like, I don't know if I can see that as like the Joker visually, but I mean, hey, with the Penguin, with some makeup and the right acting,
true,
I could definitely see it. But I guess I have like one specific like Joker in my mind that I'm like, he looks like this.
Yeah,
but we'll see, because you know what, I'm open to change. Clearly, because I wanted this whole movie to be something different.
Yeah,
so I'm open to different interpretations, things like that. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I need them to bring in some more women though. Like, I love how we brought in Catwoman, but like there's so many other women in DC that I feel like are in the Batman world that we just don't get to see.
Yeah.
Like, we get Suicide Squad, but those are always like kind of silly movies.
Yeah.
Not
especially
very serious.
That new one. Oof.
Birds of Prey?
No, the new Suicide Squad. That shit was awful.
Was awful.
With that fucking shark. Anyway,
but yeah, I'm like, I feel like we never get any like really cool superheroes on that end. So I'm like really hoping that they come out with like a DC. Have they had any movies about a DC woman besides Harley Quinn?
I don't know.
And Wonder Woman? Because Wonder Woman, okay. But I'm like, there's so many. Yeah. My favorite growing up was Hot Girl. I know nobody gives a fuck about her, but I loved her and her story. Who's the woman that's the cat? She has like the short hair. She's like more of like a
not Catwoman.
No, not Catwoman, because Catwoman's more like domestic cat, but this woman's more like she like is dressed in orange, like more lioness cat.
Don't know that one.
What is her name? I'm looking up right now. Her story would be so cool. I think it's Vixen. Yeah, Vixen. She's like an actual like more of a wild cat type thing. But yeah, she was in a couple stuff. And yeah, she has like a cool outfit. She's like a animal. I just like there's like a bunch of other cool women. Also, didn't they come out? I'm so mad that they're not gonna freaking do, or maybe they might, but what is it? Teen Titans?
Oh,
could be one of the coolest freaking movies. Didn't they do one? And it was awful.
I don't know. I've never liked Teen Titans.
You didn't? No. Raven and Robin in that other area. I love Teen Titans. Never it's so cool. Them. I think they could make it like really dark and like, but like cool. Maybe they don't call it Teen Titans. I don't know, but I love Teen Titans. But yeah, I'm like, there's so many women in DC that I think that they could do. And I guess they're not as popular as well known, but like they did Ant-Man.
And he was pretty cool. I actually enjoyed that movie.
I saw the second one. I was like, what movies do I like? Maybe I should be better as a human being.
Maybe she doesn't like any movies. That's what we're discovering on this podcast. But I will say, though, I'm happy that they did the Riddler and not the Joker again for a Batman movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy that we didn't start off with him becoming an orphan. I'm glad that he was already an orphan.
I like that.
Yeah.
How we just kind of, it's the beginning Batman. I like that. He's not been here forever, but we're not getting the full boohoo boohoo top story. Mm-hmm. We kind of learn that as we go. Mm-hmm. And it just feels a little bit more authentic that way.
Yeah. I like that. Because I'm tired of, we already know he's an orphan.
Yes, we do.
We don't need to see the parents die again.
We don't.
Maybe the Riddler does, because I don't think he gets that he's also an orphan.
He doesn't.
He said, fuck
he
that
said
boy.
Rich. Okay, cancels out.
He said, oh, dead parents, but you got money?
You got no problems.
And I like Alfred, too. He was like, stop trying to be my dad. Afro was like, I'm not.
He said, oh, sis.
You mean that deadbeat dad? Could it be me?
Literally dead. Oh, man.
Anyways.
Sorry, side note, Canary. Hello. Sorry.
Who is Canary?
Who are you? Canary, the girl who screams? You suck.
I don't watch
Canary is so fucking cool.
I have never liked superheroes. Obviously.
I watched DC. No, I watched Justice League Unlimited. It was a cartoon. It was on, I think, Cartoon Network and Boomerang. Loved it. So that's
where Lex Luthor is a black guy.
Yeah, he's a light-skinned black man. I'm sorry, Lex Luthor is a light-skinned black man, and there's nothing anyone can ever tell me.
I hate the new Lex Luthor. That guy's too.
He's too like nerdy-ish.
He's like, hey guys.
The Lex Luthor I saw, he was like cool as hell. I'm Lex Luthor. I was like, you are Lex. His name is Lex Luthor. That's a black. Like, come on. Don't be rude. Don't be disrespectful. But see, look, they have Supergirl. You could do Poison Ivy. You could do so many here. Like, it literally sickens me. There's so many women besides Wonder Woman. Not that that's not a, obviously you do Wonder Woman, but anyway, I'm sorry. So my cry to you, DC,
if you're watching this,
please give us more women and make it a dark movie. I don't want it to be as happy as like Wonder Woman. That was a little too yippity gippity goo. Okay. Don't get me started on Wonder Woman. Did you see the second one?
1984?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I was told not to do that. So
yeah,
DC,
I was told to.
Let's try again, because I think there's a lot of cool women that y'all have and y'all just have not been tapping into. Starfire, come on. I know that's Teen Titans. You hate that, but whatever. So many women here. Anyways, I'm sorry.
To wrap up what we're doing.
Sorry, to wrap up what we originally began with.
I guess scores, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. I thought it was fine. I think it was better than I expected it to be. It was longer than I expected it to be. I didn't even see how long it was, but it felt like I melted into that seat, boy. I was tired. But I'm glad that we did more of a crime detective storyline rather than just like, oh, here's a bad guy. That's it.
I guess so.
At least it was
make
a little bit more. So.
They tried to make you think.
They tried to. Some of these, I could have never gotten that one. The thumb drive one was pretty clever. The rat with wings, ratata. I don't know about that one.
The URL. I said, no.
But yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5. What about you?
I give it a 2.5 out of 5. I can't fully give it a 3 because a 3 means that I don't know. I can't give it a full 3. It was a 2.5 out of 5. I think that's still passing. Is it?
It's a 50.
I can't do math. It is a 50. It wasn't a bad movie. I guess I expected more. It was long. I'm so tired of long movies.
Long superhero movies, to be fair.
Yes. We're getting into this realm of like where movies are literally like 3 hours long. And I'll be on Netflix and I scroll. This is how you know it's getting bad. Netflix has an entire section of, 60-minute movies. So like 60, whatever. It's like only an hour and a half movies. I'm like, thank God, because every movie I'm watching is way too damn long. At some point, it's 2 movies.
Yes.
At some point, it's just a series. Like, what do you want me to do? So I knock it for that, because I feel like sometimes they think they just have all this good footage and they really, truly don't. Or it's not adding to the story.
I think Zack Snyder kind of made that happen.
That movie sickened me. It was 4 hours. That's what I'm saying. You don't need that long of a movie. At that point, it's just 2, because there's a lot of shit that I think that you could pull out.
Yeah, or expand on.
Do.
Yeah, you can if you're not spending so much time on all these other story aspects, we can expand on it in one movie and expand on it in the second movie and do different things like that. We don't have to do it all. The first movie was more just the police corruption. Yeah. I know, but the thing is, I know they want to bring in a bad guy. I get it. Yeah.
But I'm like, you could do the whole police corruption and that would be more meaningful. I think the characters would be a little bit less cheesy and like you could really dive into that world. Then the second movie, you bring in the Riddler and now you have all the other movie that you have to base on, and now we're building. Instead of, I feel like a lot of movies have so much to say and they feel like they have to say it all at once. But you don't have to do that. You can dive in, dig deeper. Then we get to the Riddler. It means more to us. And maybe the first movie you set up where people maybe start hating Batman because they see him with the cops and the cops are corrupt. Like you can start there, build off of it. And then you can see the Joker. Like I'm telling you, these are the things.
We are the masterminds behind DC.
Clearly, I'm better than everyone else.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't want to say it was a bad movie. I guess I wanted a little bit more. I was a little disappointed.
I agree. It was too long and not that great.
Just like this podcast. So if you're interested.
Good segue.
Thank you.
But yeah, we do have an Instagram at Hayley and Kayli where you can check us out. We got things on there. We also have a website, Press Podcast, where we have our blogs and our podcasts. And we also have, there's one more thing. Our TikTok is at Hayley and Kayli.
Nope.
What else do we have?
We also have a YouTube channel. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can go on over there and see our beautiful faces. If you're already looking at our beautiful faces, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and you check that notification bell or whatever they say. Anyways, you can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com. You can email us about your thoughts about the movie or any movies you want us to review.
And you can also find our podcast on iTunes and on Spotify. Next time we'll be talking about Uma. It's also another theatrical release. It'll be out March 18th. So mark your calendar so we can watch it together and we'll talk about it too. Hopefully we won't rip this one to shreds.
I don't think so. I'm excited for this one. And we are definitely doing this because the director is a woman. And for Women's International Month, the best month,
I told my boyfriend he cannot say nothing to me.
Nothing disrespectful. I don't want to hear the word female. I don't want to hear the word bitch directed at women.
Oh, yeah.
Because bitch is also gender neutral. But directed at women, it's not.
Right.
Obviously.
Be respectful to your women.
Yeah. You should do that all year round.
True. But especially this month.
But especially No Men's Podcast. They're banned this month.
Yeah, only this
I don't want to hear anything about high value men.
We'll talk about that.
We'll let you know.
Yeah. That's the Catwoman right there.
There we go.
That's the Catwoman from the Halle Berry one where that cat's going to bring Hayley back to life.
With her breath.